yet another interesting episode of Inside Out. Today we're dealing with the topic bullying. Do we train our children to be bullies? Do we have bullies? Does bullying affect us? Does it determine what kind of human being you become? Abroad, in more developed countries, it is actually seen as a big deal. Can your seniors bully you? Can your mates bully you? Can your junior bully you? What is bullying? That's what we'll be dealing with today. And what kind of effects can bullying have on an individual growing up? And I think I have a panel here that will do justice to that topic, bullying. From my extreme left, please help me welcome Abimbola Taylor. She's a guidance counselor. You're welcome. Next to her is another her, Ehi Fred Ukairo. She's a fashion designer. You're welcome to the And the only gentleman on the panel, he's a legal practitioner, a parent. Please help me welcome Mr. Abayomi Alagbada. You're welcome. And Tosi Afolarami, she is with us. She's in the media. You're welcome. Let me start with you, Abayomi.
Yes.
What is your opinion? You're a parent.
Yes.
You are also in the system, and you have grown up in this system, except you used to live abroad.
Yes.
Did you grow up here?
I grew up here.
Okay, let me start with you and your experience. Do we have bullying in this country?
Of course we do. I believe we do. But what I know as bullying may not necessarily be what we are discussing here.
What do you know as bullying? I'm interested in your definition of
my definition of bullying is having somebody who is weaker than yourself to do something in a very harassing manner. If you check the dictionary, you will find out that bullying essentially is getting somebody to do something in a not so natural, simple, straightforward manner. For instance,
what other definition is there apart from the one you've given now?
Now, if what I have in mind, which is why I am here,
yes,
is what I will have to discuss, then it will mean that harassing somebody, either physically, either emotionally, or every other wise, to do something that that person doesn't want to do in his natural sense.
But that is what bullying is, isn't it?
Yes, I mean, that's why I am here. But
yes,
I have also studied the word bullying in the dictionary. But you will find out that bullying essentially means getting somebody to do something by harassing the person to do it.
Yeah.
For instance, now if I want my daughter to go to bed 8 p.m. rather,
yes,
and she wants to see this cartoon on
yes,
Africa, whatever, DSTV and all of that, and she's supposed to be in bed for 8, I say, get up and go to bed. That's the natural thing to do. She's supposed to go to bed. But she says, Daddy, I want to watch cartoon. I say, will you get out of here and go and sleep? I am already bullying.
Is that bullying?
That's what the English dictionary will reckon to be bullying.
No, you're a parent in that instance.
What I have done is
yes,
to shout at her to get her to do what I want her to do. I have bullied her.
So are you going to term that bullying?
That is bullying by dictionary.
So
in the Nigerian sense,
the
Nigerian sense,
yes,
when you begin to do things that will alter the personality of a child, when you begin to do things that will make a child not react in the natural way God has created him or her, then you are beginning to bully. In the Nigerian, that's my understanding.
Give me an example of in the Nigerian sense.
For instance, a child doesn't like beans. Are you with me?
The kind of things you are calling bullying is surprising me.
A child doesn't like beans. You want her to eat beans. It's good for her. How would I have expected you as a mother or a father to say, see, you take her through the medical implications of eating beans.
Child?
I mean, that's how to be loving.
So I will sit down with child and start discussing the medical implications of eating beans.
You'll be amazed at the level of intelligence that we have around. All these children we are giving birth to these days, they are smarter than you are. That's the truth. So if you talk to them as your friend, they will get to learn. Oh,
and the child still doesn't want to eat the beans. What do I do?
I mean, it's a matter of time.
Also, we wait each other out until the child is ready.
It's a matter of time. But I say, sit down there, eat it. If you don't eat it, I will slap you, I will beat you, I will send you out of this house. That is bullying in the Nigerian sense. Are you with me?
In that Nigerian sense, that means like 80% of Nigerian parents are bullies.
I mean, before you know it, that girl will begin to eat the beans out of compulsion because daddy will beat me, daddy will slap me, daddy will send me out of his house.
But daddy cannot tell you to eat the beans if it wasn't good for you, no?
I mean, that was why I started by saying there are ways you can. When I was growing up, I was actually bullied. I must say that very frankly.
How? What kind of bullying did you experience?
Oh, physical bullying.
From mates, colleagues, parents?
From my uncle.
From your uncle?
I didn't grow up with my parents. When I was growing up, I had a very...
Were you stubborn?
I was very stubborn. I would go to the river.
So how would they have bullied you?
I would go to the river, I would catch a fish, I would bring it home, and I want to sell to my father. I would still eat at home from the fish, but I'm selling to my father. So my father felt, this is my first son. I mean, this guy cannot continue like this. I want him to be better than this. I apparently cannot deal with this. He has been beating me, but it's not working. So he sent me to an uncle who was also at the time at the university. So I was practically living on my own. That guy comes in every Friday, and then he will have given me an assignment, a week-long assignment. I will read Bello Goes to School, Lizard on the Wall, and all of this. I don't read them. So when he comes in, he will call me, sit down there. What have you read this week? And I will say, I've read my book. Okay, begin to recite what you have read. If I'm not able to come up with everything, it knocks my head. I mean knocking. I'm not saying robbing. I'm saying heavy duty. That's
conk.
Yes. And before you know it, I started reading offhand. I was learning.
So is that bullying?
That is extreme bullying.
It's interesting to get your perspective on bullying. Let me talk to you, Ehi. Let me get what is your opinion on bullying?
My own opinion, to me, bullying is simply oppression.
Oppression.
Yeah, I remember then when I was in secondary school, I happened to be in the boarding house, and we just have these funny seniors around you who come while you're standing by your locker and ask you, what are you doing there? And you now, as a child, you just, are you blind? Can't you say I'm eating flakes or something?
That's rude now.
And they just, you say within you.
Okay, but you don't say it out.
So they just stand around you, watch what you are taking flakes, and you are like, in your mind, so you can't see it. Is this my mind? Stuff like that. And they come and give you 2 plates and tell you, okay, put 13 spoons of milk in this. I need this one to be filled with flakes. Then give me like 8 cubes of sugar. What your parent didn't buy for me. So I'll just be there. I won't even answer. I'll be drinking. They'll be like, okay, my son name then used to be Elegon. They'll be, Yoruba now. They will interpret it their own version. Elegon. Are you deaf? Are you not the one I'm talking to? I'll be drinking my flakes. My friends, they knew me. They'll just be on one corner watching. I'll be there drinking my flakes. So this thing will be like, I said you should. And by the time, you don't have too much space, so you are standing in front of your locker. She'll just come, she'll want to open it to like push you outside so that she can serve herself. I'll just stand there. She'll be like, move away.
As a junior student?
Yes. She'll say, move away. I'll be saying within my mind, we'll go die here today. Waiting my pa work for. And she'll be like, I said, move away. Elegon. All the senior stuffs and all that. I'll be there. And by the time she wants to push me, I'll bang. As in, the way I will so bang the cupboard, it will hit her, and she'll be like, oh yeah, follow me to long room 9. I don't mind, I have all the time. You are not reading, we'll do it together. So we'll just go and you'll be like, this one, our father is old soldier, he's close to the principal. Small thing, they will go and report you. The vice principal, he's a Benin man. So our father will come over, they will report you, they will do this, they will do that. And it was becoming too much that if you're not strong-willed, anything they do to you, you bear, and you begin to suffer. You can meet some very bad ones that will come collect all your provisions. They don't care you will feed.
As seniors in school?
Yes. And
they take all your provisions?
Yes. You can't report them.
Why can't you report them?
If you report them, okay, and they have groups.
Who has experienced that? It's a lie. They take all your provisions. And you can't talk.
You can't say anything.
Why?
We were schoolmates in the boarding house, so they knew me very well. And you know, when others would be scared, because you know those seniors, they have clique. By the time we are clique, I beat you, you go and report me. She'll be waiting for you. Your parents will be tired. They want to.
Why will your parents be tired?
They will be coming every day to report. They will come every day to report.
What's wrong with that?
Another will pick over. Your parents are working. They won't have all the time. You understand? So you have to fight for yourself.
If your child was to come to you today and say that in her class, a group of people pick on her, would you say she's being bullied or being chanced?
How do I put it now? Because there was something I learned from someone. She said when I was having my intending corpus class, and she said, like our own daughter, when the daughter comes to tell her, this is what is happening in my school, she will just tell the daughter to say like, as in when you get back to school, say this to the person in question who is bullying them. Why are you never happy? Maybe because they were never happy or something, that's why they do such a thing.
Does that one work?
Maybe their own setting. That was why I told her then. I said, maybe the setting of your child's school. I said, but if you are like in a government school, who will understand that language? Why are you not happy? Happy? I'm happy.
Tosin, let me come to you. What has been your experience in terms of bullying? And what do you understand by the term bullying?
Okay, as a child, while I was growing up, I ate anything that has to do with using your mouth. Like either opening it to talk or eat. I just prefer to be like this. So the only problem my parents saw then was the child doesn't eat. They didn't find the speaking part being a bad thing.
So what were you trying to avoid now? Why didn't you just not let them take it if they are still going to get beaten anyway?
If I am beaten by a teacher, it ends there. But the moment some group of students feels you're a threat to them, they start beating you, they start giving you tough time.
So the teacher is one, the students they are more.
They are more.
So it's easier to just let the teacher beat
me and let me be free.
Are you serious?
Instead of students gathering up against me.
Okay, so you had things like your beret taking, your food taking,
my Bible,
your table and chair taking,
my textbooks.
So how did you survive school?
I was just very complicated as a child, like very, very complicated. I was really bullied, and
you didn't have any friends?
I didn't have friends. I don't want to talk to anybody. I just want to be on my own. I was a loner from home. I got to school. My second week in school, I was bullied. So I just felt, okay, it seems having friends and being among people will make this happen more often. So I just decided to be in my shell as a loner that I was.
So you did that till JS3?
Yeah.
After JS3, so what changed?
One of the girls came to my class and said, you'll be forming everything for us. She just tapped me. Like, she really slapped me. Don't let me say tapped. She slapped me and went to her class. And something just came up inside of me like, what is this? I just went outside my class, packed sand with my hand, and went to her class and poured it on her face. Like, if you want to kill me, come and kill me today. And that was the end.
What was it that made you decide at that point that, you know, I have had enough of people picking on me?
At first, it wasn't a case of bullying. It was a case of being a loner and being in the shell. Before I left the house, my elder sister, she went to the same school I went to. So she had graduated before I graduated. She said, Tosin, this one that you don't like to talk, this place you are going to, see, they will do all sorts for you. If you are not careful, they will sleep with you and you'll be able to tell anybody. So it is better you go to school with your mouth, or you drop your mouth in the house and suffer for anything. And I was like, if it's about that rape.
Tell me the kind of things you did that when you say you bullied people, you became a bully yourself.
Okay, the kind of things I do was, because of the first thing I did in school was talk back to a cultist. The other cultist guys, like his friends and cohorts, they all of a sudden became my friend, like, this babe get liver. You follow flex talk like that, you get liver, no be small. So they thought there was something more to my
To your gra-gra.
outspokenness. They didn't know it was just the tiny me.
Did you choose those people because you felt a need to be protected?
No, they chose me because I was able to talk back. Okay, the flex was actually, they called them it man. It was an it man for his cult group. So for me to have talked back to a it man like that, they were like, this babe gets something. So every
So that one encounter of talking back to somebody who they had the impression was a no-go area,
yes,
though mistakenly, was the one that set you up into becoming somebody now that can face people.
yes.
Just that one encounter. Let's go on a short break. We'll be right back. We're still talking bullying. But before I talk to you, Abimbola, I'd like to talk to one of our guests here, Mr. Eric Ekweme, who is an on-air personality. What has been your experience when it comes to bullying in this part of the world?
Someone taking advantage of an opportunity, a position, a strength against someone smaller unjustly. And because of things like that, people get intimidated.
Does bullying have to do with size?
Sometimes. Sometimes.
Because you said because somebody's smaller.
Yes.
And I've seen really big fat people being bullied because they are big and fat.
I, for one, I was much smaller than this.
Okay. What was your experience like?
Growing up, I looked like a girl, unfortunately.
You look like a girl.
I used to look like a girl. I had these friends of mine who would fight or something, quarrel with me. I'm like, you can't do anything, you look like a girl. You can't say anything, you look like a girl. And I endured that for a while, and then after...
What did that do to you as a person, or do for you as a person?
I got stronger, because I had very dominant parents who couldn't take that from anyone. So it was a matter of time.
Did they know that you were being bullied for your
Yes,
looks?
especially my dad. He was like my best friend at the time, so I told him everything. And he was like, stand up to them.
Okay.
No one can push you. And it helped, because when I got into secondary school...
Did he ever intervene for you?
At all.
He told you to stand up for yourself?
Yes. I was the first GSS1 boy to beat up an SS3 boy.
Oh, you beat him up? And you were in GSS1 then?
Yes.
And you beat him up?
Yes. It was hard for seniors to push my juniors around, because we're like, we'll get Eric for you. We'll get Eric for you. Senior, it's not good though. We'll get Eric for you. And that.
So your legend grew?
Something like that.
But did it turn you into a bully?
At all. I was
Are you
referred to
sure?
as a bully killer at some point. I was favorite senior from my SS1 to my SS3. Even after I left school, I had boys who would run into me somewhere along the road like, senior, I remember you. You served us back in the day. Things like that. I could understand my friends taking advantage of their powers or their positions or the authority they had. I wasn't a prefect till the SS3, and partly because my mother wasn't interested in me being a prefect, but I didn't like people taking advantage of power. So more times than not, I would stop them, or I would intervene, or something of the sort, just to make sure everybody lived at peace with each other.
Okay, what to your as a bully killer, let me use those words. What to your mind is the reason why the bully is a bully?
They have power. They can push people around. And then, of course, you had people like Tiny when she was just toasting, so they could get around in the word, chancing her and stuff like that. But that is the thing. Without any form of resistance, when you try the first time, sometimes it's not intentional. You try it,
and it works.
And it works. Okay, try it the second time, and it works. Next thing you know, it becomes a norm. And as it becomes a norm, the next thing is, hey, I'm a bully and I like it. I get what I want, when I want it, how I want it.
You're a guidance counselor, meaning you must have seen and heard a lot. What has been your experience in your profession as far as bullying is concerned? What are the most common forms of bullying that occur in schools?
They are all kind. We have emotional bullying.
Like
we have
what
physical. Yes, we have physical bullying. In a situation, I think a particular junior. Okay, for instance, there's a field in where I worked before, and all the students were supposed to actually play football at the same time. But you know how it is. The senior don't actually at times allow the junior ones to play with them. They think it is not your time, just move away. You understand? So sometimes when the junior boys wants to prove to them that the school belongs to all of us and the field belongs to all of us, I can use it. The right you have is the same that I have, like that. They will at times hit them or kick them at times, or even at times push them to a corner, to threaten them. You understand? And in such a situation, the boy will just let go. Maybe decide to just run away or something like that. But what we do is we try as much as possible to, campaign against, bullying. That's what we do. And there are policies that are being laid, where I've worked, being laid down on the consequences.
What are the consequences in this country, in schools? If you are bullied, because I think everybody has a bullying story.
Yeah.
And they can't report. First of all, why can't they report?
Because they are afraid. Just like my colleague have actually said, if you report, I'm going to kill you. If you report, even when they don't actually mean it, I'll kill you, I'm going to beat you up, I'm going to deal with you, like that. Because the same happened to me even when I was in secondary school. I remember then, though I wasn't really bullied because probably my size, and I had friends who were actually bullied to the extent that if they report, there is a particular corner, they will wait for them, back streets and beat them up. So as a result, they will just have to return back.
Why weren't you afraid of, why didn't you have that fear? Why were you able to stand up?
It was my person.
Was
my father raised me.
Yeah, because that, again, I was going to say that because I've never really been afraid of being bullied or reporting. I will report though.
I did.
I mean, it's just, were you able to tell, did you know that you could tell your dad, for instance, and he will stand by? Did it ever occur to you that if it gets out of hand, you can report?
There was something I did one time. I was in GSS2.
Yeah.
This issue of you give me 100 naira, I should go and buy something of almost 80 naira and bring back, was it 60 naira change? And I needed 100 naira to complete my money. I joined these students and I escaped home. I went to GCI.
So when they gave you the money, you took the money?
Anyway, extra money from me. I needed cash, 100 naira. So what I did was, I took the money, I was like, man, see God at work. Joined it with what I had. From Ikorodu straight to Surulere, I got home. My dad saw me, and he was like, baby, what happened? And I said, come and eat first. So, I got home and he helped me wash my uniform because I'll be going back the next day. You on holiday? No. Me tell him no. He just laughed because I think he could understand me and all that. So after I finished eating, I started explaining to him that look at what the senior did. That even last night, there was this punishment they gave us, wait for your boyfriend. My father said, at this age. I said,
wait
yes,
for your
boyfriend.
What does that mean?
I just stand with one leg. Either you pick the left or the right. I'm picking the right now. You don't change. No, I'm not. Your leg was not shake. We got to school and we went straight to the principal administrative, I think then, Ebony man. So as soon as we got to his office, my dad saw him, explained everything, and the man was so surprised. He now looked at me and said, will I be able to stand? And I said, sure, I'll stand. That they are even 5. He said the seniors are 5. I said, yes. So I think that period, most of my friends in the hostel, they knew I'd left. So when they saw me that morning, they were like, from corner, they were like, hey, how far? I said, I came with my dad. Come. They said, no, this one, no, that one. I said, come now. So it was only one person that joined me. We went to the principal's office. He now sent people to go and call those things. I said, I can go to their block. I know their classes. So the man
Why weren't you afraid?
I don't know. That's me. That's my person. So he now laughed. Now said, can I go? I said yes. So he said I should go. I went. So I was just calling them, telling their teacher that they are calling them and all that. So one now stopped me. She now said, Wakuton. So I just ran. While I was running, I said, go Sheni. I ran. I went straight to I went to make one in the office. So when she came, they all came together and all that. That was the first thing I told the principal. That she said, I'm dead. After today, I'm dead. The principal said, you said what? So immediately he took action. And my dad rushed on that. Okay, I gave him signal because my dad was looking at me. We could do this for long, talk with our eyes. And was asking me, who is the person? So I just did him like, my dad went straight to the senior and slapped and said, I didn't send my child to this school because of you. And the man took action. They were suspended, but later when they came back, she continued and she was expelled. And I had my peace.
The reason why and I'm going to be taking them one. What do you do when you have a child like that and you cannot really tell what is going on with them?
Okay, when I have a child like that,
yes,
that comes home and,
yes,
you know,
you don't know what's going on
with the child. The relationship I have with my own child is very cordial, and I want to tell you, the child is going to open up, because even without even asking the child, as soon as the child arrives home, he's going to tell you, Mommy, something like this happened, you know, in school today. That is where the cordial relationship comes in. It's really very, very important, and it's really very, very key, because the distance most of the time between parents and child affects the child invariably, and before you know it, the child withdraws and begins to act out or act otherwise. And that's why most times parents wonder what is wrong with the child. You know, a child that's actually been good, you know, have a very good behavior, you know, begins to, you know, act somehow. And that is, how will I say it now? In such a situation, it is very important for the parents to call the child. Even if the child is not ready to open up to you, you need to take your time. Yes, you need to take your time until the child has this confidence. You know, at times, our parents, by the time the child, you know, tells our parents, the way we react at times, you know, it does not really help the child. For instance, the child tells you, somebody bullies me, somebody did something to me in school today, and the next thing is, what? Are you okay? Can't you react? Don't you have your own hands? You know, like that. And the child will like, you know, maybe perhaps the child is this kind of an introvert person, a reserved person, and you want the child to start acting out. It doesn't really work like that.
You're a parent.
Yes.
With children.
Yes.
The fact that it doesn't seem like a lot of children have good relationships with their parents, especially dads. If your child was to come to you, that was what I asked you earlier, and said to you, my classmate is, I'm not going to use the word bullying because we most of the time take it as chancing. It's chancing me. What would you what would you do?
Well, I mean, to lay a foundation before
Yes.
proceeding to
Yes.
answering your question, you know, I will speak like a lawyer a little bit.
Yes.
The Child Rights Act of 2003, of course, it's been domesticated in Lagos. We have a 2007 law, child rights law in
Yes.
Lagos State.
Is there any law against bullying?
Well, not strictly, you know, but there are 5 essential needs as captured by the Act to
Okay.
every child.
Okay.
The child needs someone to believe. He or she needs someone to belong. Are you with me?
Believe, to
To
belong.
He also needs someone to be able to associate with. The child also needs someone we can say, oh, if I have an issue, I can run to. And then needs someone, an opportunity to affirm his or her freedom in life. Very key. They're very key. If you say you need someone to believe, it starts from the home. Your dad, your mom. He needs something to believe. The dad and the mom must instill in that child something to believe in. You are a doctor, I believe you are a doctor. You are a footballer, I believe you are a footballer. You are supposed to be an agata, I believe you'll be an agata. Are you with me?
Yeah.
So that forms the basis of the relationship between the parent and the child from the beginning. Because if every parent has that understanding that his or her child needs something to believe, need someone
So
to
from what
believe.
you're saying, it is from a faulty background.
Fantastic. That's essentially what I'm saying. You see, I'll also delve into the Bible a little bit. The Bible says, if the foundation is faulty, what can the righteous do? I dare say the righteous is helpless. Because if your foundation is not solid, and it starts from the home, even if you get out, our example is very critical. She said she wasn't saying anything at home, and they didn't find anything funny with that. She took that attitude to school, and she suffered for a whole session. In fact, she suffered all through her primary school. That's a shame. I'm sorry I'm saying this, but it's a shame. I cannot have a child at home who doesn't speak. It's my duty to ensure that I get to interact with my child. It's very important. What do you think about life? Even the DSTV I pay for every month is a lot of money. How do you enjoy this DSTV? The food your mother gives you. How do you enjoy the food? If you have an issue with your mother's cooking, we need to know. There are issues you will have in mind that you need to tell us. They are very critical things, but it depends on the parent. You see, the parent also have to understand that they have a responsibility. The responsibility. The responsibility is to ensure that your child is able to have access, unfettered access to you for everything. I have 2 girls. And I just say that I have to be very careful. I don't want anybody bringing pregnancy home. So I need to be close to them. I take them out. They are very young. I have a 4 and a 3-year-old at home. I take them out. When they grow up, when they get to secondary school, I'll take them to clubs. So that when a guy comes up from nowhere, I decide to take them to a club. I decide to take them to a club. They will remember, Dad used to bring us here. In fact, that zone is better. Are you with me? So they are exposed to all sorts. So I do not want what has happened to me to happen to my children. I had a very...
What was your relationship like with your parents?
I didn't live with them. In fact, that I am here today is by the special grace of God. I didn't have a relationship with them.
So communication is key.
Very key.
Between parents and
the child. I was bullied to knowing what it is to be a student. I was a bad guy from the beginning. I came to my uncle's house. He started...
Can there be good bullying?
But it has there are advantages. You know that our story has turned out to be positive. She started out badly. But she was bullied. She became a person. She's here today. She's able to talk to people. Confidence has been built by virtue of the bullying she experienced as a young person. That's the truth. It's not completely a bad thing.
You're shaking your head. Can there be something positive about bullying?
Something like our own case now, right? But it's not in all cases. Our own case is just rare most of the time, you know. An individual who is being bullied.
So you can be bullied into finding yourself.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, at times it happens. Sure. You know, you build up yourself, you try to find out yourself, you know, as a result of you being bullied. You know, you get stronger. But for some people, it doesn't work that way. Instead of them becoming better, they become otherwise, you know, because maybe the inability to be able to manage it, you understand, or to be able to control it, or to be able to get themselves out of it. So as a result, they become depressed most of the time, and it results in a low self-esteem. You begin to see yourself in a different and a negative light, which is not actually who you are supposed to be. But in our own case, she was able to find herself eventually, probably because of she made up her mind at a point, or the kind of people she was able to associate with.
But you see, even though you guys say it is positive, there was negative in it.
Yeah,
she did bring down people.
Yeah, bully and, you know, a bully actually most times end up becoming, you know, a bully. Somebody who is being bullied end up becoming a bully.
But she's a media person today.
Yeah.
This is somebody who wasn't speaking. She's not a media person. She's on television right now as we speak.
Okay.
That's as a result of the bullying she experienced. Very positive for her.
Yeah. Well, you speak for yourself.
Yeah, another thing was, I shut down students, but I fight for students. Because in HND1, I came out as a PRO of SUG. And
you're a PRO of something?
SUG, yeah. And as a PRO, you're supposed to speak for the students and for the school. So HNDT, that was my final year. We were supposed to have
That is
a
when you
school.
decided to open your mouth. You opened it wide.
Yeah.
So we're supposed to have a school dinner. We dropped the proposal with the school authority, and what they told us was, if you're going to have this dinner, it will be in the school auditorium. Hello, we can't do that. And they said, okay, if you can't do it in the school auditorium there, we are cancelling it. Okay, you know what? I am the school PRO. What I would do for the school is, I can't write back to the school because I'm supposed to be fighting for the school, for the students, so I can't write back to them. But I can do you a favor. I'll get every one of the students in one venue. We have a podium. Any one of the school authorities, like the registrar or whoever that wants to address the school, can address there and then. And the next question I got was, what does that mean? It simply means Congress. If you want me to go back to the student and tell them I can't work for them, I want to work for the school, then I'm not going to be accountable for it. Let me just give you a platform for you to address the student by yourself. And then I became an hero. Because people were like, no. Like my school authority, nobody dares to face them.
Let me ask you this. As a parent, would you say that a parent should be encouraged to intervene when they find out that a child is being bullied?
Well, I'll look at it from two extreme positions.
Yes.
Now, the approach of our fathers in those days when we were growing up has its own limitations. Limitations in the sense that if you allow a child to react at every opportunity that he or she gets to be bullied, the child might act beyond and above the level you are expecting him to act.
Yeah.
He was lucky to have just beaten his senior, and then he became an instant hero. You know, some other child will kill that senior. That's whether manslaughter or murder, for whatever it is, is an issue the parents will have to deal with. Now, the argument would be that the child is a young person, and until you are 18 in Nigeria, under the Nigerian law, you are incapacitoli. In other words, you are yet to answer to criminal liabilities. So they keep you in a remand home. Your child cannot be in a remand home until he's 18. Now, that's why
so that the child doesn't cross the line.
Yes.
When you keep sending the child back, say, go and fight, go and fight.
So the parent has to intervene. And you have to intervene, but in intervening, you have to also be sensible in intervening. You don't fight your child's battles for him or her completely.
So where do you draw the line? How
where
do
you
know
draw the
when
line?
Not to?
You see, I will intervene when it's a senior, a 5-6 year old or a 5-6 year senior of my child bullies my child in school. I want to see the principal. I want to see the teachers.
But do you know that you can have your peers that are even worse than seniors?
Yes, I'm coming to that.
Yes.
I'm coming to that. And if it is a teacher, because a teacher can also bully your child, you need to intervene as a parent.
Okay.
It's very important. But if they are peer groups, they are the same, of the same class, of the same age, it's just that it's the stature that is different, you can intervene by saying, I want to meet this person. Why are you doing this to this child? You're supposed to be friends. That is your limit. And then when you get home, that guy is your mate. You are in the same class. So you cannot afford to be coming home to tell me that she's harassing you. You have to harass her back. You know, but you have good advice. So you have done your bit as a parent by saying, see, you guys are supposed to be friends. You have met with the person. But you are not...
So the person is now at least aware
that your child has a dad that can intervene.
And I actually agree with some of what our main speaker have said. I think bullying is a kind of a social menace, and it is something that has to be corrected with both sides. Bullying is a form of an oppression, it's a kind of an harassment, it's a kind of... and it takes a tyrant to bully another person. And I think some of the solutions to that is, or let me say corrections, is you don't cheat people if you don't want to be a bully, because bullying is a form of cheating. And you have to curb your level of aggression. When you are so much very, very aggressive, that is when you can bully someone. The other thing I see is that may make you to be bullying somebody is when you are not a calm person on your own. And solutions to those things is to that effect is when you respect people, you respect other people, you will not want to bully them. When you love them, you love your people, other people, like you love yourself, you don't want to bully them. And the other thing is when you respect the commandments of God, because I can be very sure that if you believe in God, you will surely know that God is not going to be okay by you being a bully and, oppressing other persons. So I think bullying is something that has cut across. We see the leaders bullying the followers. We see a manager or a senior colleague bullying the younger ones. We see a senior person in the school, like we have been discussing, bullying the younger ones. We see the ones that are physically endowed, like more mighty in terms of shape, trying to bully the ones that are, lesser in terms of size.
Is there a natural law that allows for bullying? Like, is it something that is in us?
That is why I said it takes you being a person that is aggressive for you to want to be a bully person. Yeah. If you are big and you are not aggressive inside you, you just see yourself that, okay, I'm just big. It doesn't mean I have to take that upon the people that are small. If you are the Oga somewhere and you are not aggressive, you don't have this mind of cheating or pressing people, you are not likely to bully the people that are under you.
Let me look at all this issue from the sociology point of view. Socially, when you look at some people actually bully. Bully is a character flaw. It's an issue. It's a sociological issue.
It's a character flaw. Then why do we have so many of them?
So many. For instance, there are people who have insecurity. If you work, even in the offices, do you know that there are bullies in the offices?
I was told that a manager in a bank asked all her marketers to kneel down.
Yes.
And they all knelt down.
Yes.
In a bank.
You have bullies even in the offices. You have a supervisor who is a bully. The guy feels that this guy knows this work. And then he feels very insecure. If this guy is allowed to thrive here, I may be out of job in no time. He begins to harass you. Your job all of a sudden becomes bad jobs. Your inputs in the offices begin to become very bad input. And it is
so my question is, if it is a character flaw like you said, why are there so many?
Because we have so many character issues in Nigeria.
There are two ways to get people to do what you want them to do.
Yeah.
Either by reward or by punishment. If I need this bottle of water, I could say, could you please give me this bottle of water? I'll give you this in exchange for that, something that you want. Or I could say, let me have this bottle of water or I'll beat you up. Mm-hmm. So there are either two ways to get exactly this bottle of water. Now, for the bullies, I think the best way they know they can get whatever thing they want is by threatening. And that's what makes them do what they do.
Yeah.
Because they say, okay, you must give me this, or you must do what I want you to do.
Being a bully, sometimes I feel it's a self-defense. Okay, I could remember my mom. If you should go to school and maybe you get beaten, when you comes back home, she will add more to it. In cases like that, how do we address such?
Let me quickly react to that. What you have done is very wrong. When somebody tries to eat you, it's better you avoid eating back, because you don't know the kind of
kind of sickness the person
has. There's a principle in law.
They'll say you killed somebody.
There's a principle in law. They call it the eggshell principle. The eggshell principle means you must take your victim as you have met him. The fact that
these are the
somebody,
kind of things that get you bullied, where you don't retaliate because the guy hit him.
No, you shouldn't allow the person to hit him.
That's what you're saying. The person hit him.
You can speak and say, don't do that to me. I can slap your face. I can beat you. You don't need to do it.
What a Fela song.
A lot of people are in Kirikiri today because they eat somebody.
I don't be gentleman at all.
I know. It doesn't apply to a civil state like this.
My name is Tolulope Oguloi. Right from my childhood, there's if you are living in some local area, they have some small, all those ras children. I don't know where they've been born. That time, if they should send me a message, I knew I always got bullied because I'm very lazy then. But if I have backup, I'm always happy. Maybe we might just finish playing football Sometimes they must steal my slippers. I saw my slippers and somebody give my slippers. It's
Oh,
neither,
somebody will take your slippers.
my slippers. Well, shut up. Do you have any mark on it? They'll just take my slipper. But if I should go home, I'll be beaten, not hitting. So I used to advise my friends, well, let's go there. You know, there are some people that they will be pushing their life is like a wheelbarrow. Let's go there. After going there, that's the guy. We are going to confront. The guy will beat me. They will run. Everybody will run. So my mom will be saying, I'll be buying you slipper, you'll be losing. But don't let your daddy hear. If my daddy should hear, daddy sometimes might be whispering and me and my mommy will be talking. Daddy will say, can you hear? I'm not worried because she knew I'm going to be beaten badly. But one day, when the Lord want to change the situation, as we are going, I have one bad friend. That guy, I don't know, maybe the guy is a village boy. You know, those Amoko, they are very sharp in everything. So the guy said, so as we went there, we play football with them finish. Then me, I always come with new slippers. So that guy don't know how to play football, but he has been washing my slippers. When he now got to know that guy was as the guy wanted to touch me, so I was very happy then. So that day, if I was passing by their house, I would just be doing like this and walking. Because before I can't walk. Because if I said,
what you did was to get back up.
I get back up. So if my mommy should send me bread, Rashidi Jallo, to round
Good afternoon. My name is Joy. Mine was that I lived in fear for like 20 years. Yes, it was my dad. Always hitting me. If my dad sees me talking to a guy, he could even hit me right in front of that guy. Like there was a day I was coming back from church. I was talking with my choir member, one of my choristers. So my dad was coming back from work. And what he did, he just came and like, what are you doing here? And he hit me against the wall that was there. And they had to rush me to the hospital. I lived in fear. This bullying of a thing, my daddy really did it. So one day, I sat down and I said, why am I like this? Let me just end it. So I got a blade, a very sharp blade, and I started cutting myself. So when they came in, they saw blood. They were like, what's wrong with this? I said, let me just die because this one I'm facing, I don't know what I did to this man, always hitting at me, always doing this. So they had to take me to the hospital. It was in the hospital that it was even my dad. It was then he realized that, man, this girl have to change or something. So it was even my dad that was making pap for me. My mom came to the hospital and was saying, your dad made this pap, this one. He went to the market to get me food. He prepared the food. So when he came to the hospital, he was begging me that he would never repeat it again or something. So it was the doctor that talked to him that this child has been living in fear. Any little thing, I'll be shocked.
Did it ever occur to you that you could talk to him yourself?
Yes, I did that on several occasions. Yes, I talked to my dad. I was like, Daddy, I don't understand. What is really going on? What have I done to you? He said, no, that was how they trained him. So that he wants, so the fear was there. Even to my younger ones, everybody, till now, if you hear my daddy's sound, everybody will just be shivering like this.
You know, when I wanted to treat this, I usually don't know what I'll hear. But I'm glad when we finish a topic and I feel like a lot of things come out. Because we don't know the reason why a lot of people do what they do or where they're coming from. And just listening to some of these stories, very different from home, from all of that, tells you, gives us a bit of an idea of why bullying is the way it is today. I'm not sure, but I think one of the major issues we found out from here is it's from home and home situations. Not before peers, before anything, it usually starts from home. I'm going to ask for last lines before I round off, just something that we want people to take away on this topic. before we go away. Our time is fast spent. Let me start with you.
I would say, whatever it is you're going through, whatever it is you think it is, have a meeting with yourself. Like, sit yourself down and tell yourself what you would tell someone you love. If anybody you love comes to you and say, this sort of thing is happening, what would you tell that person? Say it to yourself. Stand up for yourself. Because nobody will do that for you. If you don't stand for yourself, nobody would ever stand for you. Because they don't even know where you stand. So there's no way they want to stand for you. But if you know where you stand and you let people know where you stand, they begin to stand for what you stand for. Thank you.
Yeah, my own parting shot will be that communication is key from the home, amongst peers, even in your offices, because we have also gotten to know now that it happens everywhere. So communication is key. When you look at somebody who appears to you to be a bully, rather than resenting the person or trying to bully him back, which will always turn out to be negative, learn to reach out. Let's communicate. A lot of enduring values that we have had in human history has been gotten from the communication table. We learn to interact with people, learn to approach people and see in them the positive rather than the negative. If you see positive about people, I think we can get along as a society. That's my parting shot for today.
Thank you. What to take away?
I would like to say, the key for me here now is love. You love yourself, you love others, and try to help people. Just try and study this person. Everybody you come across, study the person and help the person, because some certain people, they won't be able to, they won't be what they are if you don't help them. So don't put people down, don't run anybody down. Try to always see why this person is like this. And if I'm a parent right now and such thing is happening to my child, I want to know who that person is and I will love that child. And in doing that, you are helping that child, and you see that because this child has gotten this information, him or her, they begin to extend it. When you extend love, you'll be surprised how far this love will go, heal a lot of wound, save a lot of life, and deliver a lot of people from strong things they never bargained for. So just love, keep loving,
and
I would like to say from two aspects now, perspective. The first one is the home. I would like to encourage our parents to instill self-confidence in their children rather than fear. And they should be able to be open-minded, and try to be close to their children. It is really very, very important. And also from the aspect of the school authority should be very, very sensitive to every child, every student in the school, and try to put in a program that can actually address the issue of bullying, organize a platform where parents can be trained, teachers will be trained on how to handle such issues when it happens. And when we have such cases around, we should deal with them, with diplomatically, if I have to use that, whereby the victim will not be affected.
Let me say this as my last line. It is very important as a human being that you know who you are and that you are a special being. You don't have a duplicate. There's only one you. Even with twins, they are not exactly identical, because you must, no matter how identical they look, there's always a distinguishing feature. And because you're that wonderful being created by God, there is something in you that is great, that cannot be put down. And as Tosin said, which is something I like to say to a lot of people, you must have a meeting with yourself about yourself so that you can move forward. That is one thing that nobody else can do for you. Even if the whole world says to you that you cannot do it, if you believe you can, you will. A very big thank you to my panel. Thank you. You guys did wonderful on this topic. Wonderful. My fantastic audience, thank you very much. If you have comments and suggestions, please send us an email to insideoutwithagatha@yahoo.com or www.facebook.com/insideoutwithagatha, or follow us on Twitter @InsideOutMedia. I want to thank Kelu Image Consultant for styling, Bibire Design for my outfit, Femi Audu for my makeup. And until next week, when we come your way again, talking about something else equally as interesting, bye-bye and see you next week.